17-year-old student Valerie Ramirez is suing her aunt, assisted living aide Maria Ramirez, for stealing her state child care checks. Maria admits she cashed the checks, but says the money went back to Valerie.
Order. All rise. Quiet in the courtroom, please. All rise. Your Honor, case number 525 on the calendar in the matter of Ramirez versus Ramirez. Parties have been sworn in. Have a seat.
Ms. Ramirez, the defendant is your aunt.
Correct.
And you and she worked out an arrangement where you would babysit for her. She was working at night. And you were to be paid with checks that she was receiving from the state because she was entitled to child care assistance. Is that right?
That's right.
You claimed that while she received a substantial amount of money every month, some $1,200 a month for child care, she gave you only a portion of that, and that she took your checks that were made out in your name, forged your name, cashed the checks, and gave you only a small amount. Your aunt says that's not true, that she was with you or you were with her whenever the checks were cashed, and she gave you the full amount. To add insult to injury, you claim that you received a W-2 form for your income tax, and you have to pay income tax on the full amount. Is that right?
Yes.
When did you babysit for your cousins?
August, September, and November.
What happened to October?
Yeah, I have a check. It's for October. I'm sorry.
July, August, September, and October, those months.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see the checks that you have. How did you get your hands on copies of these checks?
I went to people that give her the assistance for babysitting.
And they gave you copies of the checks that were
Yes.
made out to you and the backs of those checks on how they were endorsed?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, during the 4 months that you worked for your aunt, how much did she, in fact, pay you?
I got $500 each month for the first 3 months, and for the last month I got $150.
Did you report this to the police?
They didn't want to make a police report. They told me to go to a small claims court.
What police station did you go to?
Fresno Police Department.
Fresno police told you not to make a report?
They sent me away. They told me to go and fill out some forms to go to small claims court.
Well, you don't mind making a police report now, do you?
No, I don't.
As a matter of fact, if I continue to hear this case, one of the stipulations will be that you will make a police report with regard to forgery. Forgery is a felony. You understand that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And you have no problem with making a report?
No, I don't.
Is that right?
Correct.
Even though if you make a report and it's a false report, that's also a felony.
I know.
You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We understand each other?
I do.
Serious business. We're talking here serious business. Unless we get down to the truth of this matter right now.
I understand.
You got almost $2,000 for 3 months, checks that were made out to her. That was a lot of money.
All right.
Did you use any of that money?
No.
Are you telling me that you are still maintaining the position that she was with you when you cashed those checks and you gave her all this money?
She was
Be careful. Be careful what you say. Very careful. If we just say, Miss Ramirez, I made a mistake, then the whole thing goes away. Do you understand?
I understand.
May I make a comment? Assuming that I was present while cashing these checks with her, there would be no reason for a third-party signature on the check if I'm cashing it with an ID.
Absolutely right. Yeah, the same person signed both your name and her name.
Yes.
It's the same handwriting.
Mm-hmm. My name is spelled incorrectly as well, if you turn to the front of the check.
Ask her to point that out to me, please.
My name is spelled V-A-L-E-R-I-E, and here it's spelled V-A-L-A-R-I-E. And on every check it's spelled wrong.
With an A.
Uh-huh.
Valerie, spelled with an E. On the signature, it's an A.
Right. I see it. You spelled her name wrong.
Can I talk now? Okay, she was in there with me when I cashed her checks. The reason why we went to the same place is because She said that she had misplaced her ID. There was no way nobody was going to cash those checks for her, so I went to the store where they know me and where I cash my checks. So I went in there.
You signed her name. She didn't misspell her own name, madam.
But she was there.
She didn't misspell her own name. You signed her name. If she was with you, why would you have to sign her name?
Because the guy didn't know her and he wouldn't cash them for her. And
so instead, listen to me, listen how stupid that sounds. He doesn't know her. He lets you sign her name. That's okay. Do you see how ridiculous that sounds?
I also signed my name on all of them. If she
I know that.
I wouldn't have signed my name. And he handed her the cash, to her, not to me.
I don't believe you.
Well, here's his number and to his store. He was going to be here today, but he had...
I believe that a lot of things could have happened, including the fact that you gave him a couple of bucks for cashing these checks. But there isn't a question in my mind that she did not sign these checks, and you did. Not a question in my mind, and you admit that.
Because I was the one that was up there signing, so he told me just write her name, so I wrote it in. And on top of it, she was suing me for $5,000. She went into the store asking him for $7,000.
May I make a comment?
Yes.
I did go to his store, and I spoke to him because I wanted to let him know that I knew that these checks were cashed there, and if he would admit to the fact to that, because the lawyer that I was talking to said if he admitted to it, it would be less worse for him, and he could countersue against her for forging them checks in his store. And also, I've done a third-party check before with my mom when my ID was misplaced. They asked me for my signature and my fingerprint and my mom's on the bottom. Never did they have my mom sign my name.
Listen to me. I understand that she forged your name to these checks, and the excuse she gives is ridiculous.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She starts threatening me and my kids, talking about her bulldog friends were going to come by, drive by my house, and start shooting. And then she's over
money that belonged to her, Mrs. Ramirez.
And later today,
You put the keys in her hand, or did you throw them at her?
I threw them at the floor.
When did you tell her where the car was?
I didn't told her.
That's right.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Valerie Ramirez claims her aunt, Maria Ramirez, stole her state checks. She also says Maria forged her signature and cashed them.
What I think, Miss Ramirez, is you decided that all that money was too much for her for just staying over at your house and sleeping and watching your kids while you were working at night. And so $500 a month was more than enough, and you took the rest of the money and you pocketed it. Unfortunately, you didn't think ahead enough to think that she was going to be W-2'd, so that she was going to have to pay taxes on it.
She knew that she was going to be W-2 because when we signed the contract, they told her. Afterwards, she came back telling me, I'm not going to pay all those taxes on that money, and blah, 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 blah. Afterwards, she starts threatening me and my kids, talking about her bulldog friends were going to come by, drive by my house, and start shooting. And then she's over.
You stole money that belonged to her, Mrs. Ramirez.
I didn't take any money that
Yes.
belonged to her.
Oh, I believe you did. I believe that the story you just told me, that the man in the check cashing place said he wouldn't, the two of you were in there together, and he knows you. And you say to him, this is Valerie. And he says to you, the man in the check cashing place, I don't know who she is, so you sign her name, and then you sign your name.
Well, he just gave me the pen and said, just sign it, so I signed.
Yeah, right. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Miss Ramirez,
Yes, ma'am.
check's being withheld until you file the police report. Do you understand that?
No problem.
Good. Thank you.
She got all her money because the guy would hand her the money, not to me.
Well, I don't believe she has any evidence that I did, and all the evidence is turning straight around to the other direction.
He was using even my kids to have an affair with one of my daughter's friends, picking her up and driving her around. And that's why she got all mad and started everything out.
Our problems are our problems. We're adults. Her kids have nothing to do with it, and my daughter doesn't either.
If she wasn't getting her money, she should have said something the first month, not waited till after she had stopped working and everything was over with.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Alejo versus Just. Step forward, please.
Grocery store owner Kimberly Alejo is suing her former friend, housekeeper Katie Just, for stealing $300 from her home. Katie denies the charge.
Miss Alejo, the defendant was a babysitter of yours.
Yes,
And it is your claim that she took $300 in cash from your home.
correct.
When was this?
February 28th.
Tell me about the cash. Where was it?
My husband put it under the VCR before he left, and he told me that it was
What
there.
time?
About 9 p.m.
And when did the defendant arrive?
She got there at about 7 o'clock that night.
She arrived at your house at 7 o'clock?
She was there before my husband left,
When did you notice that the money was missing?
about 10:30.
And you were home with her? Mm-hmm. Who else was in the house?
My children.
Did you ask her about the money?
No, I didn't, because she told me that she had put it up in the closet, and I thought that maybe it had fallen.
How did the issue of money come up at all?
I had just been operated on about 2 weeks ago, and they had to reopen my incision, and so I was on a lot of pain medicine, and that was the whole reason for her being there, was to help me with the kids, because I didn't think I could. And I thought that at about 10:30, I thought, I got to get up and put that money away, you know, put it in my billfold so I remember to take it with me in the morning. And when I got up, it wasn't there.
So at that point, you asked her about it. Mm-hmm. What did you say? What did you say to her? What did she say to you?
I asked her if she'd seen the money, and she told me that she put it up under the towels in the closet. And then I proceeded to take everything down off the shelf where the towels and stuff were, and there wasn't anything there.
When you looked for it in the closet, was the defendant present?
Yes.
Did she say anything at that point?
She told me that maybe the kids must have got a hold of it. Again, my kids couldn't have reached the shelf in that closet.
What time did she leave?
About 3 o'clock in the morning.
Was that when she was supposed to leave?
No, she was supposed to stay the night.
Why did she leave at 3 o'clock in the morning?
She told me that she didn't feel comfortable spending the night at people's houses.
Was there any further discussion of the money?
She then called me the Saturday following, March 2nd, and told me that she would pay me the money back when she got her income taxes back.
Well, tell me about that conversation.
She just called me and told me that...
She called you and said what? Hello? What's your first name?
Katie.
Hello, this is Katie.
Uh-huh. And told me that the officer that had went down to question her about it after I reported it had made her feel really bad and uncomfortable, and she was just about ready to have a nervous breakdown about it, and that she would just pay me the money.
Did you have that conversation with her?
Yes, I did. It went somewhat like it.
Well, tell me about it.
I called her and I told her I would pay her when I did get my income tax money because I didn't want to get harassed by the police officers or anything anymore. And after a couple days, I thought about it. It's like I'm more or less telling her I did supposedly take this money.
That's what it was saying. I'll pay you the money when I get my income tax money back.
And I thought about it after I had the phone call with her, and I said I'm not going to pay her back because that's making me look like I did take the money.
Well, tell me about what you saw when you saw this money. You did see the money.
Yeah, I didn't know how much there was there.
Where did you see it?
It was on the floor.
So you saw a bunch of money.
Yeah, I just wrapped it up and put it up on the
Wrapped
shelf.
it up in what?
Nothing, I just wrapped the bills up.
Wrapped them in what?
In each other. I didn't wrap them up into nothing. Like, you know how you fold money and put it like in your...
Well, fold it, yes, but that's not wrapping it up. You folded it, yes, and what did you do with it?
And I put it on the shelf.
In the bathroom?
In her bedroom.
And how high up is this shelf?
High enough where the two girls shouldn't have gotten it, but there was a chair in there too.
Mm-hmm. Now, at some point you left early that evening, or in the wee hours of the morning. Why did you leave at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Because I tried to sleep and I couldn't because I don't feel comfortable sleeping at other people's houses because it's not my bed, my house.
But you had agreed to stay with her the night.
Because she called me and nagged me for 25 minutes.
Okay, but you had agreed to stay with her the night.
Yes.
Miss Aleo, I read your papers, and in your papers you indicate that your daughter was a witness.
Yes.
This little girl, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a discussion with your daughter?
She brought it up to me later.
Your daughter?
Yes.
Your daughter is 6.
Uh-huh.
So you understand I can't take her sworn testimony, but I'd like to hear what she has to say.
Uh-huh.
Have you done any preparation of her for today?
I've only told her that we were coming and that she was going to probably have to talk to you.
Okay, fine. Tell me her name.
Vanessa Ramirez.
Okay. Vanessa, could you come sit up here for me, please?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Kimberly Alejo says former friend Katie Just stole $300 from her home. Kimberly claims her 6-year-old daughter Vanessa saw the whole thing.
Hi, Vanessa.
Hi.
How old are you?
6.
Do you go to school? What grade are you in school?
Kindergarten Sunset.
Have you been in school before this year? Or is this your first year?
No, it's my before year.
So you were there before. Could you sit still?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. So you think you're a real smart girl? Are you smart? Do you remember a day when this young lady was babysitting for you? How many times has she taken care of you?
Like about 3 times.
Has she been nice to you?
Yeah,
You like her?
not anymore.
But did you before? Did she play with you?
She put cartoons on to watch.
What's your favorite cartoon?
SpongeBob. SpongeBob.
SpongeBob. I have a son-in-law who loves SpongeBob. Okay, do you remember a time when she was babysitting for you and there was some money?
Mm-mm.
You don't remember that?
But I know she stole the money.
But you didn't see her with any money.
I told my mother, and my dad put it under the VCR.
No, tell me what you saw. Don't tell me what you told your mom.
Okay.
Tell me what you saw with the money.
I saw that she put it in her pocket, and she had the money, but my sister first had the money, and then...
How did your sister get the money?
Under the VCR.
How old is your sister?
2.
So she reached up and took the money? And what happened to her when she reached up and took the money?
She got the whole thing and she was playing with it.
Where was she playing with it? On the floor?
Yes.
Were you playing with her?
Mm-mm. I was watching cartoons.
So what was she doing? Spreading the money all over the place?
Uh-uh.
How was she playing with it?
Like going like this, picking them up.
Okay. And then what happened?
I told my mom that Graciela had the money, and then Katie came in and got the money and put it, like folded it and put it in her pocket.
You saw her fold it and put it in her pocket? Did you see where she went with it after that?
Yes.
Where did she go with it after that?
In the living room.
Did you see what she did with the money in the living room?
She wasn't doing nothing. She didn't even pull it out.
She just had it in her pocket?
Yes.
When your sister was playing with the money, was it all in one pile or was it in lots of piles?
It was folded and it wasn't in any piles.
Can you count?
To what?
10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Were there more than 10 bills or less than 10 bills?
Less.
How many bills were there?
Like about $3.
$3? Thank you.
There you go.
What were the denominations of the bills that your husband left you?
There were 2 $100 bills and 2 $50 bills.
Anything else you want to tell me?
Then Kim went back to check I'd see if the money was there. And then it wasn't. We searched through her bedroom, the clothes that she had on her, my clothes that I had on me, my shoes, my pillows, and everything. We did not find it. I ended up going home at 3 o'clock that morning because I could not sleep there. I called her the next morning, came up, and helped her look for it again. And we still could not find it. So she ended up going to her store that she runs, and I ended up going home.
Did she come back to your house the next day?
Yes, she did. But she did not help me look for it.
What was the
again.
purpose of her coming back the next day?
To see if I needed her to babysit that day. And at that point, with her leaving at 3 o'clock in the morning, that money being gone, I thought, you know, if I can't trust her with cash in my house, how can I trust her with my kids?
Did you know that your 2-year-old had gotten her hands on that money?
After the fact, yes. Vanessa says that she told me that, but I was on some very strong pain medicine because they reopened my incision, and I don't remember her saying that to me.
Ms. Aleo, I'm sure that the police told you what I'm going to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
There is a possibility that Miss Just took your money, but there is also a possibility that she did not. I mean, I can think of other scenarios that might have happened with that money if your kids are inquisitive and managed to get it from under the VCR. So it's possible that they could have gotten it from where she says she put it. And before I am prepared to label someone a thief, I have to have much more evidence, even in a civil proceeding, because I think that before you say somebody is stolen, you have to be really comfortable with that. So only Miss Just knows whether or not she was just or not and took your money. But I cannot award you the $300 that you're missing. Do you understand?
The only thing that I have to say about that is that the towels were still all folded, still in the same place where I'd left them. There's no way my kids got up there under the towels and pulled the money down.
I probably believe you. I mean, I believe you. I believe that there was money, I believe that it's missing, and I believe that there is a substantial possibility that you took it. But I'm not prepared to label her a thief. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So next time you tell your husband that if he wants to leave some money for you, to take it and put it in your wallet.
Okay.
Put your wallet in your pocketbook. You the husband? The pocketbook someplace secure, and then we don't have to worry about it, right?
Yeah, but I told him like put in the pocket. She told me put in the VCR.
Is that what you told him?
I told him to put the money up for me.
Okay. Then it's not your fault. I was prepared to blame you, but it's not your fault. Got a new babysitter?
Yes, I do.
Good. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I thought Judge Judy was fair enough for both of us.
She was my friend, and that money should have never disappeared because it was me and a friend and my children.
She never had no proof that I did take it.
What are my 3 children, a 6-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 2-week-old, going to do with $300?
I was never charged with it.
I tore the beds apart, I tore the dressers apart, I moved the dresser, I moved the bed, I tore everything out of the closet.
My nerves were shot at the time anyways.
Don't trust anybody.
If you are babysitting for somebody, make sure the person that you're babysitting for keeps money up from children and stuff.
Don't even trust your best friend.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Harvey versus Hyatt. Step forward, please.
Student Tammy Harvey is suing her ex-boyfriend, mechanic Glenn Hyatt, for the cost of breast reconstruction surgery. Glenn says Tammy's surgery is not his responsibility.
Ms. Harvey, the defendant is a former boyfriend of yours, and it is your claim that he promised to pay for some repair work on breast implants that you had while you were together. You've since broken up, and he refuses to pay for this reconstructive kind of surgery, which you have not yet had. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. Were you living together?
At one point.
When?
From March till December of the past year.
And you had breast augmentation surgery previously, is that
Yes.
right? When? How old were you?
27.
Okay. So when you were 27, you had breast augmentation surgery for the first time. Did you ever have any subsequent surgery?
Yes, I had problems.
What kind of problems did you have?
With the first set, I had hardening, which they took them out and put saline and silicone in, where they would enhance them gradually so it wouldn't build up the scar tissue.
And how
then,
old were you when that happened?
All of this happened within 5 years. I had like 5 surgeries.
5?
Mm-hmm.
When you were 27, you had the first surgery. When did you have the next one?
Like the year after that.
Why?
After the hardening, they wanted to take out the bulbs that they used to put the saline in. And when he took the bulbs out, he wanted to just put in a new fresh set with the upgraded implants.
So that's when you were 28.
Right.
When did you have the next surgery?
It was a couple of weeks after that I developed a staph infection, and they removed the right breast implant, and then I went a year without an implant.
Without?
Right.
Miss Harvey,
Yeah.
you went and had the implants put in again.
I had to because the skin had stretched so much. The doctor said it wouldn't look normal if he hadn't put another implant in there to replace the...
So then you were 29?
Correct.
So now I have 4 surgeries. When was the 5th?
The year after that, after the staph infection, he put new saline implants in, and then they were fine for the next 8 years.
What happened 8 years later? So at that point, you're about 38.
Right. I started dating the defendant, and I was having some problems. They were hurting. We massaged them together, Glenn and I, and in an intimate moment, the right one, it ruptured. And it took some time before the saline came down. But over time, you know, it was obvious, and it made a real impression on my self-esteem and everything. And the defendant and I were engaged to be married, and we were getting his finances in order so we could be married. So I was taking care of the majority of the bills and helping him. And when it came time for me to have my surgery, because last summer we couldn't enjoy going to the pool and everything like that, that's when he took me to the doctor. I had 2 consultations, and the surgeries were between $6,400 and $6,700. At that time, the defendant did a quick app financing the surgery, but it was denied. And now, you know, I wanted to get this taken care of because it is noticeable, and I have pain because scar tissue builds up around the implant where it is because it's flat now, it's not smooth, and I have a lot of pain, and psychologically it's just hurting me, and he's backed away from his commitment to me.
Well, I didn't hear about a commitment.
We've talked over the 2 years about taking care of it.
As a couple?
As a couple.
When you were sharing expenses?
Correct.
Okay. You want to say anything, Mr. Hyde?
I just deny any responsibility for ever saying that I would pay for her surgery, and I had nothing to do with it, with her implant rupturing.
I have a quick app that he said he would pay for it, and I have the doctor's with a picture.
Okay, go ahead.
I filled out that application to help her get the money, you know, for financing her surgery. That's the only reason that I did it. It wasn't to say that I would pay for it.
I think that there is some truth somewhere in the middle of your 2 statements, and that is that it was contemplated that as a couple, since you were going to be pooling your money at some point if you got married, this would be a joint debt because you were filling out the credit application if you couldn't get credit, and you were going to be a couple and move on, and this was just going to be one of the things that you had to pay off. Would that be a fair statement?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Okay, so that's somewhere in the middle of he promised to pay for it and I didn't promise to pay for it. It was going to be a family debt. But you're no longer a family, Miss Harvey. That's your problem. There has to be a reason.
I put most of our debts for the past 2 years on my credit cards to help him get out of debt in the promise that we would be married. And I did have a promise he would pay for it. He's not telling the truth. He said he would pay for the surgery.
Oh, I think that it was a family obligation that when you were together, you put the majority of your money to use paying off debt. That was a nice thing. However, that does not create a promise that he would take care of this for you. I have just a couple of questions, Mr. Height. How much do you think she paid off in debt for you over the short time that you were together?
I don't recall her ever paying anything off for me. We took some trips and went to eat and things like that on her credit card. But as far as her taking money and paying any of my financial responsibilities, monthly debts and bills, that never happened.
So what you're saying is that she relieved you of certain stress by paying for your entertainment and your vacations
expenses.
And some living expenses.
He lived free.
Did you pay rent when you were living together?
I did not pay rent. I paid the utilities.
Not always. I paid 7 out of 5 times for the utilities.
I mean, you paid 5 times out of 7 months.
No, he was
Can't
more...
pay 7 out of 5. That math doesn't work. Miss Harvey,
Yes.
the romance is over. It's sad that it's over. And I'm not going to give you any medical advice because I'm not a doctor, but it seems to me a substantial part of your late 20s, early 30s, and now beyond are involved in recuperating from surgery. Maybe you should just say, this was not meant to be.
The doctor said that I would have to have the surgery, and the implants needed to come out because of chance of infection, and that
Do you have medical insurance?
No, I don't. They won't cover it because it's cosmetic.
Well, this isn't cosmetic if the doctor says it has to come out. For medical reasons, that chance of infection, then that's not a cosmetic reason.
They both
Ms.
denied my insurance.
Well, then I would appeal it, because if what you're saying to me is that you have medical proof that this is dangerous to your health, then your insurance should pay for it. They may not pay for the reconstructive part, but they certainly should pay for removing them. In any event, I find that no promise existed, no contract existed between the plaintiff and the defendant for him to assume the full responsibility of your surgery. And unfortunately, Ms. Harvey, I think you're going to have to assume the responsibility of this surgery yourself. Case is dismissed, that's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I don't think Glenn was truthful, and if he was, that I would have had the judgment.
I think that justice was served.
He did make promises, and that was one of the promises for him to help me, and now he doesn't want to.
I never made any of the promises or signed any contract stating that I would pay for the surgery.
It's been awful. I mean, my life's been upside down. I can't wear certain shirts. I have to cover myself up. I have pain.
And I wasn't responsible for the rupture of the implant.
I would just like to get on with my life.
If you want to continue a relationship with someone, then you shouldn't sue them.
It's not worth it.
3-year-old medical office assistant Aaron O'Neill says ex-fiancé Jason Valley owes for credit card charges. Jason says Aaron owes for improvements on a truck and for his prizes won in a wedding contest.
Order. All rise.
Yeah, this is case number 59 on the calendar in the matter of O'Neill versus Valley. You're quite welcome. Parties have been sworn in. Judge, you may be seated.
Miss O'Neill, you and the defendant were engaged to be married, and according to your complaint, the defendant used your credit cards. You had not given him permission to use the credit cards, and he racked up bills in excess of $5,000.
Correct.
The defendant says that he had the right to use your credit cards. You had given him permission.
Correct.
You have a counterclaim, sir, that it's a whole potpourri of stuff. You claim that you put a lot of money in a truck that she kept and some other stuff, which you will explain to me later. Miss O'Neill, when were you and the defendant living together?
He moved in late September.
And tell me about the credit cards.
The credit cards are in my name and my name only. The credit cards had a zero balance, and I took the defendant once to go shopping for his children for Christmas presents. I was aware of that, and I'm not disputing those charges. And we also had put a down payment on my ring on that same credit card. He said it was his responsibility, and so when the statement came, he would make the payment directly to the credit card company. He'd give the envelope to me sealed, and I would mail it from my place of business, and so on and so forth.
He took the bill sealed
He took the bill. He sealed and I'm assuming opened it to pay it, but I never.
But you never opened the bills.
I didn't see the bill because again, it was his responsibility because it was presents for his children and again for the deposit on the ring. I didn't see the statement because I had nothing on there at that time. And Your Honor, I really do feel like this matter was something that was brought forth premeditated. I think that he.
Okay, so let's get to the story and then we'll discuss whether it was premeditated or not.
Okay. I had the credit cards put safely in my bedroom because I was not going to be.
Well, so far you had one credit card that he used. What about the? You said
right.
Now you had
There's
another
a second
credit card
that had gotten mailed to me that I did not use anything for. We took one trip to Tahoe that we did use, and again, I'm not disputing those charges. We charged about $150 that weekend. So what had happened was I placed the Visa in the headboard of the bed, and then when the MasterCard came, I also put it with that as well.
When did you discover that there were excessive balances on the credit card?
On March 27th, I received a notice that there was a certified letter at the post office waiting for Jason that was for a storage unit that I had had my bed in that had all of his other belongings in it. So I was a little suspicious because obviously it wasn't a Christmas card, it was probably an eviction, and that means that he was back a couple months. So I confronted him that evening and I asked him, how are we doing on the bills in general, my ring, the storage, little things like that. He said, oh, honey, we're caught up, we're fine. And he also got offended that I would even ask him something like that. So he was at that point lying to my face. So that morning when he left for work on the 28th, I went through a side of his bed that there were drawers that he kept a number of receipts and tax return information. When I found the credit card statement, I noticed that I also found forged receipts that have my name forged in his handwriting, and also a lot of the receipts in his possession matched my credit card statements with an outrageous balance. So
what was the balance?
The balance on the credit card was almost $6,000. That was the Visa, and the MasterCard was about $1,500.
You have those statements?
Yes.
I'd like to see them, please.
Did you want to see the forgeries too?
Yeah.
Okay. These are the receipts, and then these are some information along with my copies of my time card as to...
No, just give me the receipts, please, and the balance that you found on each of the cards. Am I correct that there were some cash withdrawals as well?
Correct. And I've never made a cash withdrawal, and I don't know how he got the PIN, but my name's Aaron, and he had commented once before that he had called for insurance purposes on the truck, that he used my name, Aaron, and he thought it was kind of humorous that he could get information using my name. And so I'm assuming he might have used that method to obtain a PIN number because I don't know my PIN. I've never used cash advance.
Did you ever get a PIN number yourself?
I never received one myself. I don't know if one was ever mailed or, because I don't use that. And Your Honor, on a lot of the forgeries too, he's misspelled my name, so.
Okay, your turn.
Okay, Your Honor, I have some proof here, some letters here showing that she did give me permission to use the credit cards.
Mr. Valley, let's start from the beginning, sir. I want you to start with where you got the credit cards from, when you took them out and used them and signed her name.
Your Honor, I used the credit that she gave me, the credit cards to hold in my wallet. There was nothing in, no coverage or nothing like that. She gave them to me when we go out at night and stuff like that. She didn't want to carry a purse, so she gave me her driver's license and her credit cards. Sometimes she'd have a little too much to drink or something like that, and we're checking out, okay, and it's like, we're signing away, and she'll say, just sign the credit card. I didn't think this was a problem. I had no idea. I always have the credit cards in my possession because when I first met her, she used to keep her credit cards in the freezer in a bowl of water, okay, yes, because she had using the credit cards too much. She racked up bills and stuff like that.
Yes.
When I first moved in, she says, okay, pay a minimum rent, here's my credit cards, you pay off your credit cards, okay, and she says, well, I have a better interest rate and that let's use my credit cards when we need them, as long as you pay me back. And I was making the payments, I was paying them back.
There we go. As long as you pay me back.
Yes.
Okay, you see, you keep talking. Sometimes if I let you keep talking, and you stick both feet in your mouth. So, you acknowledge, sir, let me take your best case scenario, that you used her credit cards, but the agreement was you would pay for those credit card bills.
Correct.
So why didn't you pay them?
I was paying. I have proof here that I was paying them every month.
How much were you
paying? Okay, I was paying $140 a month.
So therefore, Mr. Valley, you acknowledge that you owe her
$5,000?
No.
Well, explain that to me, sir.
Because
either you took the credit cards, pay attention to what you just said. Either you took the credit cards, as she says, without her permission, or you had her permission, but your agreement was that you would be paying a minimal rent and you would take care of all the charges on the credit cards. That's what you just told me a moment ago. So explain to me why you don't owe her $5,000.
I was to take full responsibility what I put on the credit cards, Your Honor.
That's not what you told me, sir.
Well, that's.
I mean, how does that work out? You order 2-egg roll, you pay for yours, and you don't pay for hers?
No, Your Honor.
You you put gas in the car, you split that down the middle. How does that work?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Chevy pickup, when we purchased it, it was bone stock.
No, I purchased the truck. He has credit worse than a 2-year-old.
And later today,
I apologized and I told her I was late on the payment and that I would get to it. She...
Talk. Did you make March's payment?
No.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Erin O'Neill says ex-fiancé Jason Valley forged her signature to make unauthorized credit card charges. Jason says he had permission.
Go ahead.
If you look on the credit card statements, it shows her charges, then my charges. Her charges, then my charges.
I'm talking about your charges, which are in excess of $5,000, sir. Not her charges, the charges that you made, whether it be for gas or restaurants or anything else. Now, are you telling me now that your agreement was that you would split those charges 50-50?
We never had that agreement, no.
So your agreement was that you were supposed to pay the credit cards?
For my charges, yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. All right. So we just took care of that. Give a guy long enough and he always just gets right in there. All right, Mr. Valley, now let's get to your counterclaim, sir. Let's start with this truck that you say she owes you money for.
Back in October, we purchased a 98 Chevy extended cab four-wheel drive together. Okay, my financing wasn't going to be the greatest. She said, let's put it in my name, we'll get a cheaper finance rate. The Chevy pickup, when we purchased it, it was bone stock. It was no add-ons, no nothing. I purchased lift kit, all kinds of accessories, and when we broke up, she came to my shop saying, I want the truck. I said, that's not a problem. I will take my stuff off, I will put your tires back on, do whatever has to be done. No, I want it now. I said, well, I'd like to have my property. And she says, no, take me to court.
Yes.
Okay. We purchased the truck? No. I purchased the truck. He has credit worse than a 2-year-old. I purchased the vehicle myself.
Who's making the payments on the truck?
He was making the payments on the truck, which I also show that he was also delinquent on the payments for the truck. So I had to pay $500 just to get current when all of this happened.
Who's making payments on the truck now?
He was. Oh, I am.
Now?
Oh, I am.
Okay. Is the truck in your name?
Yes. Always has been.
Did you ever make an arrangement with him that he would be reimbursed for any additions or any modifications that he put on the truck?
No.
All right. Now let's leave the truck for a minute. Did you enter some sort of a contest with him?
Yes.
All right. And that's the last part of your counterclaim, sir, that she owes you for half the prizes that were awarded to you as a couple from this dream wedding contest, which turned out to be not a dream wedding.
Nightmare.
So, tell me about that.
We won gift certificates to different places like jewelry stores, and it was like $3,000 in gift certificates.
Okay. You want to respond?
Yes, Your Honor. The total for the gift certificates retail face value was $3,305. None of the gift certificates have been used. I have sold about half of them in retail value, and I have had $1,200 from those gift certificates, and I'm also showing that...
Show it to him, as a matter of fact, first, before you give it to me.
And I also have the original entry showing that it's all in my handwriting and my effort that was placed forth, and again, my effort to sell.
But you won as a couple?
Correct.
All right, and you sold some of them, is that right?
Right, and the ones I have remaining that I did not sell actually equal $50 greater value than the profit that I made on the ones I sold, and I'm more than welcome to hand them over to him now.
Okay. Mr. Valley, you want the other half of the gift certificates?
That's fine, Your Honor.
Give them to him. Perfect.
There's the photographer, $955. The caterer for $250, and then 2 vacations. One has a retail value of $475, and the other's unmarked, but I'm assuming is
whatever. That's what he wants. He wants to sell it or he wants to use it. All right. Now I think that we have resolved this matter. Mr. Valley, you owe $5,000 for the charges that you put on her credit cards that, according to you, you were supposed to pay for. According to her, you stole. I take your word for the fact that you had a permission, but you agreed to pay for them, so you owe $5,000. The vacation packages and the photographer, you have half the value of the gift certificates. As far as the truck is concerned, I find that there was never an agreement that you would be reimbursed for anything that you put in the truck. The truck is in her name. She is currently paying for the truck, so for the truck you get nothing. Judgment for the plaintiff for the amount of $5,000. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
He really thought he was sneaky and that he would get away with stealing forever.
It's her word against mine.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Tate versus Enrico. Step forward, please.
Community advocate Valoria Tate is suing her neighbor, Secretary Laura Enrico, for slander and damage caused by her cats.
Miss Tate, it is your claim that the defendant's cats damaged some of your property. The two of you are neighbors and share a common garage and storage area. Is that right?
That is correct, Your Honor.
And that sometime later, when you tried to remedy this situation yourself, the defendant posted flyers around or passed out flyers in the neighborhood accusing you of trying to poison animals and children.
After her neurotic behavior.
Okay. So how long have the two of you been neighbors and shared this common space?
I've lived there 5 years, and I'm not sure. I would say she's been there maybe 2 years.
Year and a half now.
Year and a half. You have two cats?
Yes.
Now tell me about this common space that you share.
I have pictures of the common area.
I'd like to see them, please.
That's supposedly where all of us can use the patio area. And I explained to my neighbor that I'm highly allergic to pets, and I can't go down there and entertain myself or my friends as long as cats are living on our tables.
Go ahead.
So I have several pictures.
Is this the common space that you share?
That's part of it. That's in the garage, and that's my personal space. That table was made for me. It's actually higher than a normal
Just
table.
show me the
Okay.
Just show me the private space that you have for storage.
Please.
Okay. So tell me how her cats destroyed your property.
Well, it's before they destroyed my literature that I placed in my garage and covered it very well with bags and mothballs, they've already destroyed a couple of plant pots, and used the bathroom in my plant pot.
Did you see that, or did you just
I
assume?
saw that, and when I saw it, I nicely went over to Laura and I told her, "Your cat's potted in my plant and my pot," and she would come over, clean it up and say those few nasty things, but she would clean it up. The second time I did that, she was a little more angrier, and she literally went down to the patio, to the common court area, and she turns around like this. Some people don't want my cat to, but not poop. Laura has this thing about you can't tell her to clean up behind her own pets because she feels, as she kind of indicated, cats have a right to.
All right, she'll tell me what she feels.
Okay. So therefore, I went to the management. They said they have approached her several times. They pointed out in the CNRs, the rules, that we can only have house pets. In fact, I asked my owner before I moved. I said, I'm highly allergic.
Can I see the house rules, please?
Yeah. I told him, I said, I'm highly allergic to pets. Do they have pets? He says, no, only house pets.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Valoria Tate says condo neighbor Laura Enrico owes for property damage caused by her cats. Valoria also claims Laura distributed a slanderous flyer calling her a pet killer.
Well, I've read the rules, and the rules clearly say that no pet is to be in a common area. Dog has to be kept on a leash at all times. Is this a picture of your cat on the table?
I can't see it.
Would you give that to her, please?
It's a black cat.
And is your cat a black cat?
He was, yes.
Now, after certain of your property was destroyed, and in your complaints say that you found that her cat urinated on a box, right? And there was literature in that box.
Yes.
What did you do?
What did I
According to your complaint, you put mothballs around the area.
Oh, the reason I put the mothballs is before I left for the trip, her cat was in my area up on top of my boxes. I have never seen the cats on the boxes before at that time. So I went into the house, I had some mothballs, left the boxes on the boxes so you can see what they were, and I went on my trip.
Okay. You had a confrontation with the defendant and a friend of hers accusing you of trying to poison children and animals.
Yes.
Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. And then you said that there were some flyers that were distributed. I'd like to see those.
Your Honor, the flyers were placed on everyone's door in our entire complex. There's 26 units.
Did you place this around?
Yes, I did, ma'am.
You got some nerve. You got some nerve.
I have concern for the animals and the children in the complex.
I want to tell you something. You got some nerve. If you have animals that in any way interfere with your neighbor's peaceful enjoyment of their property, you keep your animals in the house. What right do you have to let your animals outside into common areas, on tables, on chairs? What right do you have to do that? None. And you are so arrogant, as to say the last line here is, if you have a problem with allergies, dislikes, phobias, or such about animals in the building, it might be suggested to move to another building. And you go through this whole grandfather clause because two people had cats that were outside. You say now it's grandfather, so your cats can be outside. If you want to have house pets and you want to let them outside, go buy a house in the woods and let your animals out in the woods where they don't bother anybody. But you live in a condominium complex where there are lots of other people. And it is possible that some adults, some children are afraid of cats. Somebody might want to come and put their lunch on the table, and your cat has just been walking around after walking around in feces, now walks around on the table. That's outrageous. And your reaction is, what? Cats will be cats? I mean, is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not, but my cats aren't the only ones in the courtyard. We have a lot of strays that come into the garage and come
That
into the
may
courtyard.
be. She can't complain about strays. Strays are not your problem. Your problem is your two cats. Because you are an owner or a tenant.
I'm an owner.
As an owner, you should want to do everything that you can to preserve the integrity of your space. What are you laughing about? Are you on medication?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not, Your Honor, but the demonstrations of irrationality never occurred. She threatened me. She followed me.
Let me ask you this question. Did you ever check with the management company to find out whether Miss Tate ever had any problems with prior tenants?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Did you ever have problems with prior tenants?
No.
I would say that you probably didn't. You keep your cats in your house because that's what the rules say. Specifically, rules that you gave and you signed for when you bought your condominium specifically said that only these two people, long gone, could have their cats out in the courtyard. You signed it. I assume when you signed it, you read it. Is that right?
Yes, I did.
So why didn't you abide by the rules you signed and read? Rules are your cats stay in your house. Yeah, right. And this is nasty.
Don't like having my animals threatened to be killed.
Well, why don't you keep your animals in your house?
I will from now on.
Perfect. Did we just solve that problem?
Yes, you did, Your Honor.
Fine. She doesn't mention your name in this, does she?
No.
Now, it's very possible that other people knew what she was talking about, but she doesn't mention your name.
May I share with you why she didn't have to?
Go ahead.
Because she made such a big scene about I was trying to kill these cats and children. All the neighbors heard it, and then she called the police. Well, they knew there was only one person she was referring to.
I can't tell you what they knew.
But
she does not mention your name in this flyer. But certainly, Miss Enrico has agreed at this point, is that right, Miss Enrico, that you will keep your cats in your home from now on?
Yes.
Is that correct? Is
Yes,
that right?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That seems to solve the problem. I will prepare that order, that's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Laura has a little problem.
She's irrational.
This person that you're seeing talking out, I guess she took her values.
I was afraid for the other animals and the children in the building.
All the other neighbors try to work these out.
I had no idea what I was being sued for.
She'll work it out eventually, hopefully.
I have better things to do. I do not like dissension in my life.
Maybe you've learned a lesson. No, grow up.
This habit of turning his music up so loud. So I called the police. The next day I get out of my car and he calls me.
Did the two of you ever see each other socially?
Just the two of us?
Just the two of you.
This is Judy Justice. Robin Shepler is suing her former neighbor, Garrett Tappendorf, for a mobility scooter and harassment.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge. Case 3053, Shepler versus Tappendorf.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ms. Shepler, am I correct that the two of you were neighbors in a mobile home community?
Correct.
How long had you been neighbors in the community where you lived?
2 years.
Did the two of you ever see each other socially?
Just the two of us?
Just the two of you.
One time we went for a Friday night fish dinner, yes.
Other than the one-time Friday night fish dinner, did you ever go out socially with him? Either two of you or another couple or...
With other neighbors in the mobile home park.
Your case is about a scooter that you sold to the defendant.
Correct.
I want you to tell me exactly what kind of scooter it was because I wasn't able to get enough information about it.
It's called the Golden Companion 2 scooter.
Where did you get it from?
My father bought himself the scooter and a wheelchair. He never used them before he moved into a
So
nursing
you
home.
got it from your father?
Correct.
When? What year?
2018.
And how long had he had it before he gave it to you?
3 years.
And where did he get it from?
He purchased it from a connection he had at the VA center.
From a private person?
No, it was from the company directly.
Any luck?
So I just need to know if it's a 3-wheel or a 4-wheel.
3-wheel.
Then I have for a new one from Golden Tech, I believe.
Well, this one's 8 years old.
Well, I have what a new one is,
Okay.
and then I have what some eBay offers
Okay,
are.
good.
But 2756
Is new.
Is new. And then I could look up some used ones if you want, just to get.
Could you do that from 2015? I would appreciate it. Okay. At the time that you claimed the defendant purchased this scooter from you, was it running?
No.
In what month and year did he purchase it from you?
May of 2021.
And how long had it not been running? You had had it since 2018.
As far as I know, it just needed 2 new batteries.
It's not what I asked you.
Okay.
How long had it not been running?
I'm not aware.
So as far as you know, it had not been running since 2018.
Yes.
Tell me what the arrangement you made with Mr. Tappendorf was with regard to the scooter. He said he wanted it. You said...
Said, well, it's not running. I wanted to get new batteries for it and sell it myself for about $3,000.
Yeah, well, that would be hard since it's 8 years old and the new one costs less than $3,000.
So I said, we can work out a deal.
Do you understand what I just said?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
So he said he's interested in buying it, and I know he's a handyman. So I asked if he would be willing to install a dishwasher in my home and a water softener in my home, and we could work out a discounted price for buying the scooter from me.
So what price did you work out?
At that time, I had mentioned $1,500.
Is that what he agreed to?
It was a verbal agreement. There was no talk on price.
No, there cannot be a contract without terms. Have to be terms. You say this is what you want. He says this is what I'll pay you. And I will do something to reduce that price by so much. Do you understand?
I do.
Okay. So far, we don't have a contract.
No.
In what month and year did you take possession of the scooter, sir?
I believe Robin is right. May of 2021.
How much money did you give her for it?
None.
Did you ever give her any money for it?
Yes.
When?
Close to 8 months to a year later.
Tell me the circumstances surrounding you giving her money for it.
Well, I thought we already had it worked out with all the labor that I did. And my girlfriend took it down to the mailbox. And as soon as she left, Robin's right across the street. She come running over and she said she wanted more money.
Okay. Well, I'm
gave
missing
her
that whole, there's a whole piece missing there, sir. 8 months later, you gave her money.
Yes, I did.
How much?
$500.
Okay. Sarah, in your
I looked up
adventure on the machine, did you come up with a price for used?
Yes. So there's actually one right here on eBay that's the same 3 wheels that needs batteries for $350. And then there's another one for $250, and they range up to about $750.
Your Honor, I have the information on that too from 2 companies in La Crosse.
No, I don't need any information from you. I have a very trusted clerk here who's just looked it up and indicated that for a used scooter, the range is from $250 for that year model to $750 for that year model, right?
That's what she looked up. This was
That's
an
what she
unused, never used scooter.
That's what she looked up.
Yes.
Also, if I may ask you, Your Honor, or show you, it is a manufactured.
So far, you're not losing, sir. So I don't know what you want
I'm
to
sorry.
contribute to this.
I have an old flip phone with the date on it. It was manufactured 05/28 of 2007.
Okay, so it wasn't 2015, it was 2007.
That's what I found on the scooter.
Kevin, can I see the document that the defendant referenced?
Okay, I'll show you.
No, you had it right over there.
This one?
Yeah.
Well, that's just, here, it's on my phone, Your Honor, and I don't know if you can look at it. I just wrote it down so I had it in front of me, but
Okay.
I have it on this phone. If you can operate it, I don't know.
I can't operate it, and I don't want to operate it.
Okay.
Return this to him. Anyway, the $500 that you gave to her is more than reasonable for the scooter. So my question to you is, if it was vulgar then, which to me it would have been, why did you let him in your house to install a dishwasher?
I was not aware of those actions that he had at that time.
Okay.
And later today,
He advanced the money for security deposits so you had a place to live. And the next month, you decided to be a stay-at-home dad.
I had no option.
I don't care. What does that matter to Mr. Huntsman? Do I care? Does Sarah care that you had no option? Whitney doesn't care. Not even Kevin cares if you have no option.
Robin Shepler claims her former neighbor, Garrett Tappendorf, harassed her for months and owes for a mobility scooter.
Now, you did other work for her. Tell me what other work you did for her.
The work that I performed for Robin was she had no dishwasher there. So I cut the cabinet out, prepared a spot for the dishwasher, had to go through more cabinets to get the plumbing over to the sink. Then it needed to have electrical work to power that up. And she asked me to install another electrical outlet for her microwave.
Now, Miss Shepler, you seem to acknowledge that the defendant did, in fact, install a dishwasher for you.
I did some of the work as well for that.
Well, that's your home.
Yes.
It's not his home.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do as much work as you like. And this was part of the deal for the scooter, which he paid you $500 for, which already covers the cost of the scooter. So now he's working off nothing. So he installed a dishwasher for you.
He did sub-quality work, though.
Well,
I have photos if you'd like to see.
I don't want to see. Madam, if you want a professional installation, call a professional. If you want your neighbor to do it in exchange for a scooter, then you don't complain that you don't like the work. Does it wash dishes?
I had to replace it. No.
It was used, Your Honor.
What?
It was a used dishwasher.
Yeah, replacing the dishwasher. Does the current dishwasher work?
Yes.
Is the current dishwasher a new one?
Yes.
Was the one he installed a used one?
Yes.
There we go. So far, he's paid for the scooter. Punitive damages for harassment. You want to go into that, Ms. Shepler?
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
I knew him for 6 years prior to being neighbors. In that time, we would have community fires, bonfires, and he had this habit of turning his music up so loud.
Just a second. Give me a month and year.
This specific time for the last time was on March 16th. This was during the day.
Just March 16th, 2023. He played his music too loud.
I was working, and I couldn't do my job across the street because his music was so loud.
Next.
So I called the police. And the next day I came home from work, I get out of my car, and he calls me
that's a nasty word.
No, I did not.
Just a second. And
other vulgar terms.
And
he had the habit of standing outside urinating, where my grandchildren would see him.
Well, tell me when. Give me
every other day he did it.
Well, then you shouldn't have let him in your house to install a dishwasher.
He also had...
Just a second. So my question to you is, if it was vulgar then, which to me it would have been, why did you let him in your house to install a dishwasher?
I was not aware of those actions that he had at that time.
Okay. Next.
The harassment comes from after he was served his small claims case that I filed. I witnessed him putting spotlights out in his front flower bed and running extension cords to power them. And I kind of wondered what he was doing. At 6:30, I proceeded to go to an evening activity. I came home at 10:30 at night. I turned the corner onto my street to see the entire street lit up because these spotlights are shining on my house. I proceeded to call the police. The police came within 11 minutes. I have documents of the police. I have a video of the police going to the defendant's house in which they spoke to him, and within 3 minutes, the lights went off. But I had my camera rolling, and I could see the police were standing 10 feet away from the door. Next thing I know, the police are coming over to my house to talk to me, and when they came to my door, I turned on my front light. When the police came, they asked me to turn off the lights so they could talk to me, and I told them, this man is harassing me. I'm afraid of him. He has a problem with alcohol.
Why did you file a small claims case against him? I don't understand. You were paid more than the scooter was worth between the $500 he gave you that you accepted, plus in addition to that, he did some work in your house, whether you liked the work he did, whether you didn't like the work that he did. I'm not understanding why you filed, because you say this harassment started after you filed the small claims case.
Yes.
And I don't understand why you filed a small claims case against him.
I feel it was a brand new, unused scooter that happened to be 6 years old at the time. So I think the value was higher than $500. And I brought over a flyer to him, which I have here. And we sat down and we discussed it, that $1,000 would be the going price for what he'd owed for the scooter, having done the work.
Okay. First of all, whatever it was a plus item for you. It was given to you by your father who couldn't use it anymore. You don't know what he paid for it. He says from the scooter, it was built in 2007, despite the fact that you say your father bought it new in 2015, which I'm not so sure about. But the highest price for that scooter is $750. The highest. The lowest is $225 in the same year. So you got paid for it. I don't understand why a busy woman like you would waste your time. I just don't understand. You seem like an intelligent woman. You have a counterclaim. It is your claim, Mr. Tappendorf, that because the plaintiff called the police on you several times, it caused you to be evicted from your home.
That's true.
Show me.
I filed a counterclaim in the amount of $1,800.
I have it. And it says punitive damages for losing home and moving expenses, which I read your counterclaim, and you say because of her constant complaints about you.
I don't have any proof.
Well, if you don't have,
I know,
Mr. Tappendorf, you know what happens when you don't have proof?
You get nothing.
Right. Because you filed the counterclaim, and I can't tell you what happened. You have to have proof and be able to show me that the reason you were asked to leave the leased property that your mobile home was on was because of the plaintiff. It's possible that it was, because the police, based upon what she tells me, were called twice.
It was more than that.
That may be more of a reason. You don't have to help his case.
I've never had a ticket, never had a warning. I just had a warning one time that the radio was too loud, please turn it off. These lights that she's talking about
I'm not interested.
False.
Sir, all you have to do is show me that you were evicted from the property because of the plaintiff.
It's all hearsay then, Your Honor.
Well, then I have a problem.
I do have proof of what he harassed me with.
Just a second.
And later today.
According to what I read, the money was going to come from your work.
Could we ask that question one more time? Just so I know.
The money was supposed to come. Listen, he didn't give you $2,800. I want you to understand that right now. That's not going through my mind.
Okay.
This is a very smart old mind.
Robin Shepler claims her former neighbor, Garrett Tappendorf, harassed her for months and owes for a mobility scooter.
He has no case. Why are you helping him?
I'm not helping him. I have my own case again.
No, your case is dismissed against him.
Thank you.
Because you have no case. You were paid for a scooter more than handsomely. You had work done in your house. You were paid far more than the value of it over the internet for a scooter that's between 8 and 14 years old, more than handsomely, and you had work, and he did work for you. That you may not have liked the work, but he did the work, and you installed a new dishwasher that works. And he did the cabinetry. You may not like the way he did it, but you installed the dishwasher there, and it took time. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, so we're done here. Go, be well, have a happy life. You're not living there anymore?
No, I'm not, Your Honor.
Good. Are you living someplace else that you like?
More peaceful place.
Good. Glad to hear it. That's
He's
it.
not
We're
supposed
done.
to be in our park, and he continues to.
This court is adjourned.
He was in front of my camera riding in circles. I'm on Robin's camera. I'm on candid camera, doing burnouts with my scooter.
It goes 4 miles an hour.
He taunted me with the scooter, and he knew he owed me more money on it.
I have another girlfriend that lives in the neighborhood, and they're all jealous of her, and they just want me out of there now.
Well, he's been evicted from the park, and all of the people are very happy that he's no longer there.
That defendant has definitely watched you before. He knew he had no proof, and he knew he was going home because of it. But, I mean, I guess at least be honest. When you come in, he knew he didn't have it, but...
What do I have? Got nothing.
Yeah, at least he knew it was hearsay, and he knew you weren't hearing it.
I actually thought he was pretty sharp.
Yeah, but I think, you know, she was adequately paid, and he did work. She didn't like it, hire a professional.
Yeah, well, you put in a used dishwasher in the work that he created. So he really more than paid for it.
Yeah.
There's something else there. There's some other annoyance there. I'm not exactly sure what it is between the two of them.
You don't want to know.
And I don't. Yes. What did you do to her cat?
Well, I didn't do anything.
Wow. Yes, you did.
All right, I definitely fell on her cat. I wouldn't beat a cat. I wouldn't hit the cat.
You tell me.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
This is Judy Justice. DeJuan Sworn is suing his ex-girlfriend, Melina Mack, for stolen money after using his Cash App.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, everyone.
Hello, Judge. Case 3023, Sword versus Mack.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Swan, Miss Mack is your former girlfriend, and you claim that she stole money from your Cash App.
Yes.
She denies that she took the money, and she's counterclaiming because she says that you injured her cat. She wants you to pay the vet bills.
That's correct.
Were you and Miss Mack living together?
Yes, we was living together for about 3 years, maybe a little over.
Okay. At her apartment?
Yes.
Who else was living with you?
Her 2 children, her 2 daughters.
So tell me about the withdrawal from your Cash App. When did that happen?
All right, so around March 9th, this happened.
March 9th of 2023?
Yes. So around March 6th, I text her, asked her information about my Cash App. The reason why I did that, well, I didn't text her, I messaged her on Facebook. The reason why I did that, I didn't have a phone at the time. She had the phone that I was using at the time that had the Cash App on there and any other information about anything with me.
Why did she have your phone?
About a week prior, we broke up completely this time. It was on and off before that. At this week, she was just done with me.
Why did she have your phone?
Technically, it's not my phone. It's her phone that she allowed me to use because I wasn't able to.
So it's her phone?
Yes.
And on her phone, you had the information with regard to your Cash App?
Yes.
Okay. Now you've broken up and you texted her or you put something on Facebook.
Yeah, I messaged her on Facebook.
Messaged and said, what happened to my money?
No. I messaged her because I needed to know. I didn't have any information about what was on my Cash App. That's mainly where I have my money. So I needed to know what was on my Cash App so I could put gas in the car, get to work for that week, and so forth. So I did ask her. I said, hey, what's on the Cash App? She definitely texted me back. She said, I can't look on your Cash App without the confirmation. I thought at this point she already had the confirmation code because she has used it before, but I could be wrong or she could have forgot. So I did give her the confirmation.
So you gave her the ability to take money out of your Cash App by giving her the confirmation?
Technically, yes, I did, but...
Not technically. Yes, you gave her the ability to take money out of your Cash App.
Yes.
And this was after you had broken up already?
Yes.
And on what date did you give her that confirmation number?
March 6th.
And when was the money removed from your Cash App?
March 9th.
How much money was removed?
$3,000.
Even?
Yes, even $3,000.
May I see, please?
Yes. Also, I have this first page.
Just show me the money first.
Okay.
We'll do this in my order. So I'm a very orderly person. Would you look this up for me, please?
Sure. I can't see it from here, do you?
What's your name, by the way?
Nevaeh. I have the Bizopedia, the company name. It says Janae Horns as a company contact.
How long have you known Miss Horns?
I've known her for like 4, maybe 5 years.
When you were dating the plaintiff, did you ever introduce her to him?
Yes.
How often?
They didn't really get along the first time they met. So I didn't really have her come over too much after that unless I was like buying her artwork or candles from her.
Okay.
Or if she stopped
So they
in town.
didn't have. So they met. He didn't like her. She didn't like him. They didn't.
Yeah,
meet.
but
Just a second. So you had very little contact. She was your friend, right? Is not an answer.
Yes.
I would like you to tell me how $3,000 got taken out of his Cash App to your friend. Just a second. And I want you to think about this, Miss Mack. I've been living on this planet for 80. That's a long time. I mean, I know that, but it's a long time. And I've been around this business a long time. If it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
How did his $3,000 get to your friend?
Well...
No, don't look up here. Don't look here.
Okay.
How did his $3,000 get to your friend between the 6th and the 9th of March?
Well, between the 6th and the 9th of March, Dewan was trying to contact me and come back over and apologize and work things out, this and that. And that's what I allowed him to do because I didn't want to believe that.
Would you please tell me how his $3,000 ended up with your friend between the 6th and the 9th of March?
He sent it
Don't
to
give
her.
me a whole story.
He sent it to her?
He sent it to her.
He sent it to her.
Now, would you tell me how somebody who doesn't particularly, according to you, like your friend, so you kept them apart, tell me how and why he would send her that money? You tell me.
I don't know.
I don't know either. $3,000 on your side.
Exactly.
Yeah, just a second. $3,000 on your side so far. Now, we're going to get to a counterclaim, and I have to tell you this, I don't like liars. You lie to me once, I believe very little of what you say, except when it comes to injuring animals, which is what your counterclaim is about. Mr. Swarm.
Yes.
Something happened while you were living with the plaintiff with her cat, which caused an initial kerfuffle with her.
Yes.
And that was around February or March.
It was late February.
She wasn't home. What did you do to her cat?
Well, I didn't do anything.
Yes, you did.
Well, it was an accident that happened.
I don't care whether it was an accident or on purpose.
Claims his ex-girlfriend, Melina Mack, owes for stolen money from using his Cash App. Melina is countersuing Dewan for vet bills and emotional distress.
What did you do to her cat?
All right, I definitely fell on her cat.
You fell on it?
Yes.
How did you, just a second, how did you fall? I want you to explain to me how you fell on her cat.
Okay, no one was home. I worked 2 jobs. I know.
Just get to how you fell on her cat.
I was in the shower, and I was waiting on a phone call. It was a Zoom meeting, and when I heard my phone, I automatically jumped out, not thinking about anything, opened the door because the bathroom is not that huge, so I jumped out the shower, opened the door. The cat was right there. I did not see the cat, because if I seen the cat, I would not have ran out. I was all wet. I was running out into the room, which was next to the bathroom, and then I pretty much slipped. My knee went first, and my back went back, just like that. I did not even know I hit the cat. The cat must have ran initially when I got up, because when I got up, I was just holding my back and went into the room. I didn't see the cat. Several moments later, I was on the phone with the defendant, and I look over, the cat was on the couch just sitting there, and I see blood in his eye. I said, hey, something wrong with the cat. I initially told her, hey, I don't know what's going on. I didn't see anything that happened. I know I didn't do anything purposely or anything like that to the cat. I wouldn't beat a cat. I wouldn't hit the cat. None of that stuff. I would not do anything like that, knowing how much her daughters and she like that cat. That, matter of fact, to come into this relationship, that was one of the biggest things.
Okay, what happened to the cat?
I was at the store.
No, I know you were at the store, and I know he told you something went wrong with the cat. You took the cat to the vet when you got home, and you have a report for me from the vet?
Yes.
I'd like to see it. Cash payment 58, cash payment 60, cash payment 155. And you gave her $500?
Yes, I did.
Show me proof of that.
Here's one. I have another one. Just give me 1 second.
March 8th, he sent you $500.
Yes.
Yeah, that covers your vet bill. More than covers this vet bill.
He sent me that. He sent me that because he was staying with me. He was supposed to be paying me while he was staying with me.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $3,000.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
This court is adjourned.
Wow. Well, what happened to the cat was he supposedly fell on him, which I have other evidence stating that it couldn't have been due to a fall.
It was an accident that actually happened, and because I knew that it was an accident involving me, I did pay for the damages.
That Cash App situation has nothing to do with me. That actually has to do with the person that he sent it to.
I have no idea. Maybe that was her way of masking her from showing me that she stole the money. I don't know.
I think it was very clear from the plaintiff's first initial story that he didn't intentionally harm the cat. He didn't seem the type. His story matched up. And honestly, the defendant seemed like she was just a money-hungry...
She got $3,000 from him. She took $3,000 out of his account. Mm-hmm. And she gave it to her friend who gave it back to her.
As if she didn't think one of us would figure out that we know that person, she knows that person, it went back to her.
Right. Maybe.
It is an interesting argument. I want to look up some other legal cases involving money from Cash App, Venmo, that sort of thing, because would it be misappropriation because technically she did have the login of funds, or just larceny, just stealing of the money?
Well, it is larceny, and she attempted to cover that by sending it to a friend rather than taking it out personally. Anyway.
The right thing happened in the end.
The right thing happened in the end, except the cat was really injured. Cat was really injured.
An accident's an accident, but... He did send the $500 for the bill that was accurate, so...
Right. And more than accurate.
Xin chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta cùng tô màu bức tranh 3 con vật đang ở trong một chiếc máy bay nha. Mình sẽ lấy màu xám. Cho chú chim cánh cụt. chú mèo. Tông màu xanh này vào số chiếc máy bay. Vậy là chúng ta đã hoàn thành xong bức tranh chiếc cánh cụt gấu và mèo ở trong một chiếc phi thuyền. Và đây là thành quả ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những video tiếp theo. Xin chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta cùng tô màu bức tranh một chiếc xe gắn máy. Chị lấy màu xanh này tô vào thân chiếc xe. Lấy màu xanh này tô vào đầu xe nha. màu xanh này vào đây. Vậy là chúng ta đã hoàn thành xong bức tranh hình ảnh một chiếc xe gắn máy. Và đây là thành quả ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những video tiếp theo. Hi, xin chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta cùng tô màu bức tranh robot loa. Mình sẽ tô loa màu xám. Mình thích tô màu xanh. chúng ta đã tô màu xong bức tranh hình ảnh một người máy loa. Và đây là thành quả ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những video tiếp theo. Hi, xin chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta cùng tô màu bức tranh một nhân vật trong phim hoạt hình Pokemon. Mình sẽ lấy màu này, tô vào đây. Vậy là chúng ta đã hoàn thành xong bức tranh hình ảnh một nhân vật trong phim hoạt hình Pokemon. Và đây là thành quả ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những video tiếp theo. Hi, xin chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng tôi cùng tô màu bức tranh một nhà thờ. Mình sẽ lấy màu nâu, tô vào mái. màu sáng vào tủ ống. Vậy là chúng ta đã hoàn thành xong bức tranh hình ảnh một nhà thờ. Và đây là thành quả ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những video tiếp theo. Hi, xin chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta cùng tô màu bức tranh một nhân vật trong phim hoạt hình Pokemon. Sẽ lấy màu xanh đậm, tô vào đây. Những màu xanh nhảy tô vào đây. Tên mình sẽ tô màu xanh lá. Vậy là chúng ta đã hoàn thành xong bức tranh một nhân vật trong phim hoạt hình Pokemon. Và đây là thành quả ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những video tiếp theo. Hi, chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta cùng tô màu bức tranh một chú mèo Hello Kitty. Mình sẽ lấy màu vàng tô cho chiếc nơ. Lấy màu hồng vào áo. Mình sẽ lấy hạt tím tô vào sạch. là chúng ta đã hoàn thành xong bức tranh Một chú mèo Hello Kitty và đây là thành quả ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những video tiếp theo. Hi, chào các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay chúng ta cùng tô màu bức tranh Một chú chó. Mình sẽ lấy màu nâu tô vào đây. Sẽ tô vào tai.
Gì vậy? Hả?
Vậy là chúng ta đã hoàn thành xong bức tranh Một chú chó và đây là thành quả ngày hôm nay. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn ở những video tiếp theo.